Picture this: June 23, 2021. Los Angeles County Superior Court. A woman connects to the hearing via phone. Her voice is shaking. She's nervous, angry, desperate. For 13 years, she's been silent, controlled, monitored. But today, she's going to speak, and the world is going to listen. Her name is Britney Spears. She's one of the most famous pop stars in history. She's sold over 100 million records. She's performed for millions of people. She's earned hundreds of millions of dollars. But for the past 13 years, she hasn't been free. She hasn't controlled her own money. She hasn't made her own decisions. She hasn't been able to choose who she sees, where she goes, or what she does with her own body. Since 2008, Britney Spears has been under a conservatorship, a legal arrangement typically used for elderly people with dementia or individuals who cannot care for themselves. Her father, Jamie Spears, has been her conservator. He's controlled her finances, her career, her medical care, her life. And on this day, June 23, 2021, Britney is finally telling her story. For 24 minutes she speaks, and what she reveals shocks the world. She says she's been forced to work against her will, that she's been forced to take medication, that she was forced to have an IUD contraceptive device implanted so she couldn't get pregnant, that she's been treated like a prisoner in her own life. She says, "I just want my life back." The testimony goes viral. Within hours, #Free Britney is trending worldwide. Celebrities speak out. Fans protest outside the courthouse. The media, which once destroyed Britney, is now forced to reckon with what they've done. And 5 months later, in November 2021, the conservatorship is terminated. After 13 years, Britney Spears is free. This is the story of how one of the biggest pop stars in the world became a prisoner. How a legal system designed to protect vulnerable people was weaponized to control a woman who made millions for those around her. How a father exploited his daughter. And how fans, social media, and Britney's own courage finally set her free. Let me take you through the conservatorship, the 13 years of control, what really happened behind the scenes, and why this case changed the conversation about women's rights, mental health, and power. To understand the conservatorship, you have to understand what led to it, and that means going back to 2007, the year everything fell apart. By 2007, Britney Spears had been famous for almost a decade. She burst onto the scene in 1999 at age 17 with Baby One More Time. The song was massive. The video with Britney in a schoolgirl outfit became iconic. She became a superstar overnight. The late 1990s and early 2000s were Britney's peak. Oops, I Did It Again, Lucky, I'm a Slave for You, Toxic, hit after hit. She was everywhere. Magazine covers, award shows, tours. She was one of the biggest pop stars in the world. But fame came at a cost. From the beginning, the media sexualized her. She was 17, but journalists asked her about her virginity. They commented on her body. They followed her everywhere. Paparazzi were relentless. In 2002, Britney's relationship with Justin Timberlake ended. The breakup was public and brutal. Justin released Cry Me a River, a song that portrayed Britney as unfaithful. The music video featured a Britney look-alike cheating. The media crucified her. Justin was the heartbroken victim. Britney was the villain. In 2004, Britney married Kevin Federline, a backup dancer. The media mocked the relationship. They called Kevin a gold digger. Britney had 2 sons in quick succession, Sean Preston in 2005 and Jaden James in 2006. But the marriage was troubled. Kevin was often absent. Britney was overwhelmed. She was one of the most famous women in the world, trying to be a mother, dealing with constant paparazzi harassment. In November 2006, Britney filed for divorce, and that's when things started to spiral. The media feeding frenzy intensified. Paparazzi followed Britney everywhere. Every time she left her house, there were dozens of photographers. They shouted at her. They provoked her. They wanted a reaction, a breakdown, something they could sell. And they got it. In February 2007, Britney walked into a hair salon in Tarzana, California. She asked the stylist to shave her head. The stylist refused, so Britney grabbed the clippers and did it herself. The photos went viral. A bald Britney, looking defiant, angry, lost. The media went wild. Britney's breakdown. Pop star goes crazy. The next night, Britney went to a paparazzo's car and hit it with an umbrella. The footage was everywhere. Britney attacking a car, clearly distressed. What was happening? The media said she was on drugs, out of control, a bad mother, but what they didn't talk about was the relentless harassment, the postpartum depression, the pressure of being scrutinized every second of every day. Britney was struggling. She needed help, but instead of help, she got judgment. In October 2007, Britney lost custody of her sons. A judge ruled that Kevin Federline would have primary custody. Britney was allowed only limited visitation. The reason? The court deemed her unstable. For a mother, this was devastating. Britney's mental health deteriorated further. On January 3, 2008, things reached a breaking point. Britney was supposed to return her sons to Kevin after a visit. She refused. She locked herself in a bathroom with Jaden, who was just 1 year old. Police were called. The standoff lasted hours. Eventually, Britney was removed from the house on a stretcher. She was taken to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center and placed under a psychiatric hold. The images were broadcast worldwide. Britney strapped to a gurney, being loaded into an ambulance. It was the lowest point of her life. And it was the moment her father took control. In February 2008, just weeks after Britney's hospitalization, her father, Jamie Spears, petitioned the court for a conservatorship. A conservatorship is a legal arrangement where a judge appoints someone to manage the personal and financial affairs of someone who is unable to do so themselves. It's typically used for elderly people with severe dementia or individuals with significant disabilities. Jamie argued that Britney was incapable of managing her own affairs, that she was a danger to herself, that she needed someone to take control. The court agreed. On February 1, 2008, a temporary conservatorship was granted. Jamie Spears became Britney's conservator. He was given control over her finances, her medical decisions, her contracts, her career, everything. The conservatorship was supposed to be temporary, a short-term measure to stabilize Britney, but it didn't end. Weeks turned into months, months turned into years. And 13 years passed. Under the conservatorship, Britney had no control over her life. Let me be clear about what this means. She couldn't access her own bank accounts. She was given a weekly allowance, reportedly around $2,000. This was her own money, earned from her career, but she couldn't touch it without permission. She couldn't make her own medical decisions. Her conservators chose her doctors, her medications, her treatments. Britney later revealed she was forced to take lithium, a powerful mood stabilizer, against her will. She couldn't choose where she lived or who she saw. Her movements were monitored. She had a security team that reported to her father. She couldn't even drive her own car freely. She couldn't get married or have more children. In her 2021 testimony, Britney revealed that she wanted to get married and have a baby, but the conservatorship wouldn't allow it. They forced her to keep an IUD contraceptive device implanted to prevent pregnancy. She couldn't hire her own lawyer. The court-appointed lawyer was supposed to represent her interests, but many argued he was more loyal to the conservatorship than to Britney. And most disturbingly, she was forced to work. While under a conservatorship meant to protect someone too vulnerable to function, Britney was working grueling hours, recording albums, performing on world tours, and doing a Las Vegas residency. Between 2008 and 2021, under the conservatorship, Britney released 4 albums, went on multiple world tours, and performed 248 shows in Las Vegas. She earned an estimated $60 million per year at her peak. But she couldn't control any of it. She was, in her own words, working like a slave. Jamie Spears, as conservator, controlled Britney's money. He paid himself. He paid a team of lawyers, managers, and others who were part of the conservatorship. Court documents show Jamie received a salary of $16,000 per month, plus a percentage of Britney's gross earnings, plus office expenses. By the time the conservatorship ended, millions of dollars had been paid to Jamie and the conservatorship team. Critics called it financial abuse. Britney was making millions, but most of it was going to the people controlling her. Britney has said that during the conservatorship, she was heavily medicated. She was required to take a cocktail of drugs, including mood stabilizers and antipsychotics, that left her feeling numb and disconnected. In her 2021 testimony, she said that when she objected to performing or expressed that she was tired, she was threatened. She said, "If I didn't do this what they told me to do, they said they would take my kids away." She also revealed that in 2019, when she expressed reluctance to continue her Las Vegas residency because she wasn't happy with changes to the show, her therapist reported her concerns to the conservatorship team. She was then sent to a mental health facility against her will. She was held there for several months, forced to undergo therapy 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. Britney described it as punishment. "I felt like I was being sent to prison," she said. And during this time, the conservatorship had her under constant surveillance. Court documents later revealed that a security firm hired by the conservatorship monitored Britney's phone calls, text messages, and even placed a listening device in her bedroom. This wasn't protection, this was control. For years, the public didn't know the full extent of what was happening. Britney was performing smiling on stage, posting on Instagram. To the outside world, it looked like she had recovered from her 2007 to 2008 breakdown and was thriving. But fans started to notice things didn't add up. Britney's Instagram was strange. She posted often, mostly videos of herself dancing in her living room. She wore the same outfits repeatedly. She spun around, smiled at the camera, but something felt off. Her movements seemed mechanical. Her captions were odd. Fans began to wonder, was Britney really in control of her account? Was she okay? In 2019, things escalated. Britney abruptly canceled her planned Las Vegas residency, citing her father's health issues. But rumors swirled that she had been forced into a mental health facility. A paralegal who claimed to have worked for a law firm involved in the conservatorship called into a podcast and alleged that Britney was being held against her will. The podcast episode went viral. Fans mobilized. The #FreeBritney was born. Protests were organized outside courthouses. Documentaries were made. Journalists started investigating. At first, the media was skeptical. Was this just conspiracy-minded fans overreacting? But as more information came out, it became clear something was very wrong. On June 23, 2021, Britney Spears was allowed to address the court directly for the first time in 13 years. She called in by phone. Her voice was shaky but determined. For 24 minutes she spoke. And what she said shocked everyone. She began by saying she wanted to share her story with the world. "I've lied and told the whole world I'm okay and I'm happy. It's a lie," she said. "I've been in denial. I've been in shock. I am traumatized." She described being forced to work. "I've been doing this for 13 years against my will," she said. She talked about being forced to perform, to record, to do interviews, even when she was exhausted, sick, or unhappy. She revealed the medication she was forced to take. "They've done a good job at exploiting my life," she said, "so I feel like it should be an open court hearing, and they should listen and hear what I have to say." She talked about the IUD. "I wanted to take the IUD out so I could start trying to have another baby, but this so-called team won't let me go to the doctor to take it out because they don't want me to have children." She talked about not being allowed to get married. "I have a boyfriend and I want to marry him, but this conservatorship won't let me." She talked about being sent to the mental health facility in 2019. "They sent me to the most exposed therapy I've ever seen," she said. "I cried on the phone for an hour and her father loved every minute of it." And she made it clear who she blamed. "My dad and anyone involved in this conservatorship should be in jail," she said. The testimony was explosive. Within minutes it was all over social media. #FreeBritney trended worldwide. Celebrities spoke out. Cher, Mariah Carey, Miley Cyrus, Britney's ex Justin Timberlake, even her sister Jamie Lynn Spears, eventually expressed support. The judge listened, the world listened, and things started to change. After Britney's testimony, the legal process moved quickly. In July 2021, Britney was finally allowed to hire her own lawyer. She chose Matthew Rosengart, a former federal prosecutor known for representing high-profile clients. He immediately began fighting to end the conservatorship. In September 2021, Jamie Spears was suspended as conservator. He petitioned to end the conservatorship entirely, but many saw it as a move to avoid further scrutiny and potential legal consequences. On November 12, 2021, after a hearing where Rosengart presented evidence and arguments, Judge Brenda Penny ruled that the conservatorship was no longer necessary. It was terminated. After 13 years, 4 months, and 11 days, Britney Spears was free. Britney posted on Instagram shortly after, "Good God, I love my fans so much it's crazy. I think I'm gonna cry the rest of the day. Best day ever." The #FreeBritney movement had succeeded. A grassroots effort, driven by fans who refused to stop asking questions, had helped free one of the biggest pop stars in the world. Since the conservatorship ended, Britney has been adjusting to freedom. It's been complicated. In 2022, she married her longtime boyfriend Sam Asghari. It was a moment of joy, a choice she was finally able to make herself. But freedom has also brought challenges. Britney has spoken about the trauma she endured. She's been candid on social media, sometimes posting things that worry fans, but she's also been clear, she's healing on her own terms. In October 2023, Britney published a memoir, The Woman in Me. In it she detailed her life, her relationships, the conservatorship, and the abuse she suffered. The book was a bestseller, selling over 1 million copies in its first week. Britney wrote about being forced to have an abortion when she was dating Justin Timberlake because he wasn't ready to be a father. She wrote about her father's control, the fear she lived with, the ways the conservatorship broke her. But she also wrote about survival, about finding her voice, about refusing to stay silent. Britney's conservatorship case has had a broader impact. It sparked conversations about the conservatorship system and how it can be abused. California and other states have begun reforming conservatorship laws. There are now more safeguards, more oversight, more rights for conservatees to challenge their arrangements. The case also highlighted issues of misogyny and how women, particularly women in the public eye, are treated. Britney was punished for a mental health crisis. She was deemed incapable of managing her life, yet she was forced to work and generate millions. Many have pointed out that male celebrities who have had public breakdowns, substance abuse issues, or erratic behavior are rarely placed under such restrictive control. They're given second chances, sympathy, and support. Britney was given a cage. The conservatorship also raised questions about Jamie Spears. Why did he push for it? Was it really to protect Britney, or was it about money and control? Court documents show that Jamie and the conservatorship team made millions from Britney's career. Jamie has insisted he acted in Britney's best interest, that he saved her life. But Britney has been clear, she believes he exploited her. As of now, there have been no criminal charges against Jamie or anyone involved in the conservatorship, but investigations have been called for, and the court of public opinion has already rendered its verdict. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of Britney's story is her relationship with her sons, Sean Preston and Jaden James. When the conservatorship began in 2008, Britney had already lost primary custody. Kevin Federline had the boys most of the time. Throughout the conservatorship, Britney's time with her sons was limited and supervised. As the boys grew older, the relationship became strained. In 2022, Jaden gave an interview saying he and his brother hadn't seen their mother in months. He said he loved her but that their relationship was complicated. Sean and Jaden are now young adults. They live with their father. Britney has expressed sadness about the distance, but she's also respected their space. It's a painful reality. Britney fought for years to regain control of her life, but in the process she lost time with her sons, time she can never get back. Britney Spears' conservatorship is one of the most disturbing cases of control and exploitation in modern entertainment history. A woman who was capable enough to perform hundreds of shows, record multiple albums, and earn hundreds of millions of dollars was deemed incapable of managing her own life. She was medicated against her will. She was prevented from having children. She was surveilled. She was threatened. And she was forced to work, enriching those who controlled her. For 13 years, Britney Spears was a prisoner, not in a jail cell but in a legal cage built by people who were supposed to protect her. But Britney didn't give up. She endured. She found ways to signal to her fans that something was wrong, and when she finally had the chance to speak, she told her truth. Her testimony on June 23, 2021, was a moment of courage. It took immense strength to speak out against a system that had controlled her for so long. And the #Free Britney movement showed the power of collective action. Fans, journalists, and advocates refused to accept the official narrative. They asked questions, demanded answers, and didn't stop until Britney was free. On November 12, 2021, Britney Spears regained her freedom. It's been a long road since then. She's healing. She's learning to live on her own terms. She's rebuilding. The conservatorship is over, but the impact of what happened will last forever. For Britney, it's a trauma she'll carry. For the legal system, it's a cautionary tale. For all of us, it's a reminder that power can be abused, even in systems designed to protect. Britney Spears, born December 2010 Mars, pop princess icon, survivor. She gave us Baby One More Time. She gave us Toxic. She gave us countless memories. And for 13 years she gave everything she had while being controlled by those who should have protected her. But she fought back, and she won. Britney is free, and her story will never be forgotten.